All right, Tou Ger Xiong is now live. Says. And then do you have a cell phone on too?
Yeah.
You need to turn that, I think, volume off.
Yeah, it's always on vibrate.
Okay, cool. All right. I think we're live on Facebook.
Yeah, I see us.
A few minutes to share. All right. So, hey, it is 8 o'clock. Let's be on Hmong time and be on time. Nhớ dòng sẽ đâu. So, ta sẽ nói Nhật. Để Tou Ger Xiong on the TGX show. Ta tỏ live đó. The person in front of me with the screen is actually a real person, so it's not a photo, all right? We will be speaking in Monglish, so I'll give you a chance to brush up on your Monglish. Let us know where you're listening from or watching from. Let us know if you have any questions. You could punch it in, and we will try to get to that later. But we are going to spend the next hour in the hot seat with Mr. Doua Moua, all the way from his apartment in Los Angeles, California. I believe, what, it's like 6 o'clock your time?
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
You can tell he's got the Fu Manchu mustache. He's shaved since the movie. You look good.
Thanks.
Then, you look great. I think in the movie you put in some weight too, huh, Doua?
Yeah, 40 pounds first time, 50 pounds second time.
Right. So you need ý trong phong như tự chế nên chỉ sáng cái mà nó cũng done Doua Moua thả. Doua Moua yeah, the actor who plays a role Paul in the movie Mulan, which opened this weekend. Nên cho tự chế nên tự sáng là cho nên một cái mình tung nhỏ mê nhớ elementary or middle school là nu là sao itu actor itu star ya lên Doua chế. Have them watch it with us. We'll be doing Hmong in English. Invite them. And Doua has a few words for them, whether if it's your daughter or son who's interested in becoming an actor and making the big leap and going to Hollywood. So, but before we do that, I want to introduce our guest today. You guys just, if you watch the movie, you know him as Doua Moua, Paul from the movie, but I want to give a little bit of background on our guest that some of you may or may not know. Doua was actually at HTT Hmong Tai born and he's that makes him an official Hmong Tai. He came to Minnesota and grew up in the housing projects. Nick, in your Minnesota, you guys know the there is only 5 housing projects. There's McDonald, Mount Airy, Roseville, Plaza, and Congress in Minneapolis. And I think there's only 2 projects in Minneapolis. So Doua is truly through Hmong refugee to now, right? And then he grew up in St. Paul. I grew up knowing your with your aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
And then you from Minnesota, you went to acting, did some acting in high school, college. We'll ask you a little bit more about that. Made the big leap to New York, where he studied more acting, and then he was in Gran Torino. But before Gran Torino, you did a lot of other projects too. I think it was Airbender. I saw you in the last Airbender. And then now he's out in LA acting full time. I also want to say that Doua, not only just a brother who's an actor, that he's an activist. He's very outspoken about social justice issues. Doua is also a writer. I know that you have some works that you're writing and producing right now. We'll talk a little bit about that. And so, yeah. So let's get to it. If you guys are just joining in, put in your questions. We'll try to get to those questions. But Doua, how are you, brother? Good to see you.
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Last time we hung out, I think it was the HND conference in San Jose.
No, I didn't actually go to that.
Oh, you didn't go to that? Okay.
Yeah, I think last time we hung out was probably when I came back and visit, and I went to one of your schools. So.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, yeah.
Right. Community School of Excellence, I think it was. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So thank you. I know that before we were doing this interview, even you and I talked about possibly hosting a premiere, the original date of the premiere of Mulan, which was going to be back in spring. We're going to do it somewhere here in Minnesota and have all the red carpet, and we're going to have photographers and video camera there. And but sadly, because I think for our community this year, there were two big Hmong events. Well, besides like J4th and the Hmong Day at the Fair and all that, but two Hmong, I think, events that got canceled, which is the Mulan premiere, which is which featuring you, and then the Olympics in Hong Kong. Oh man, those are two big events that I was looking forward to. But
no, definitely. I mean that's the thing, and I just want to do a shout out to Hmong Hong Healthcare for being a big supporter and sponsor for that event, which we eventually didn't have happen because of COVID. So
right. Well, it's good to have you here. So first things first, what is the evolution of the Doua Moua story? So talk about growing up. I want to. We'll get to the movie in a little bit. Let's talk about the Hmong Doua, the Hmong kid going in the projects. No, my Faye, growing up in the household with mom and dad, and me too. Let's talk about that. Growing up, what got you into acting, and what were your parents like? Were they supportive? Were they like, "Kamu, me too"? What kind of support did you grow up with at home?
No, I mean, the thing is, because I'm the first generation, so in Hmong, so I mean, in America, so it you still have the patriarchness of the elders and stuff like that, which was encompassed of a lot of male Hmong man, so a lot of them perspective are kind of intertwined with my parents' perspective of they want itu tu Hmong itu tu Hmong mo ni got doctor look like a teacher look like a so all that so a lot of the stuff that I grew up with was that pressure of trying to fit that mold that my parents want. But for me it's like any refugee or immigrants come to the United States, like our parents are working pretty much 2 or 3 jobs every day. So, and I'm the youngest son, and my siblings are pretty much like 5 years older than me, and besides my younger sister, where she came like pretty much 10 years after I was born. So it's like I had a lot of like time on my hands. So, and most of the time it's doing fundraiser for school, selling candy bars, gift wrap, poinsettia. So I kind of like from there, it's kind of like me pretending to be somebody selling candy bars and stuff like that at each house. So kind of like just playing around, and like any kid who have 2 cars and talk to each other, that kind of propel everything else.
So as a Hmong kid, did you get to do the Hmong stuff like in the summer instead of going to summer camp? Mom and dad said, did they take you to the farm too?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that was like one of my growing up job was paper route with my dad in the morning, and also in early morning, and in the morning come back, and then me and my mom will go to the farm and work with my aunts and them for the Tomigalu farmer. So I mean that farm was pretty well known during back in the days, like because he hired a lot of Hmong people by Bantleti Tao but yeah, I mean like I grew up on the farm working in the dirt, so experience all of that, and besides that, like it's just your normal Hmong boy trying to figure life out by himself, since your brother's so at an older age where he has his friends that he hangs out with. So
so right?
Yeah.
Is she growing up because you went to school like every kid, you try to do good in school and stuff, but I know that a lot of the video is growing up as a Hmong boy in St. Paul. Like a lot of my friends play not basketball, soccer, right?
Yeah.
Volleyball, and then big Hmong girls play volleyball or badminton. But what was your epiphany, like the genesis of your acting career? Like, okay, when was it when it clicked that to you said, I like to sing and I like to dance and I want to act?
I mean, I think that kind of sprung when I was a little kid, and all I remember is playing a flower in a kid's play or performance, and
Mhm.
from there it's just and also like our family still follow their old tradition, and so most of like my Sunday I will go with my cousin to their church and learn go to sing in their choirs and stuff like that. So and then eventually in middle school and high school I joined choir, and that kind of propelled me to perform. And I mean, like, I just did it because it was something to do, and it was like I feel like it was an easier class to ace in a sense. So I that's how I kind of started, and eventually I realized that singing wasn't I'm not gonna make money singing, because like when on the other hand you have your parents like you need to find a good job to make money, so eventually I was like, oh, what if I try acting? And then my drama teacher, choir teacher pushed me into acting, and I did some acting stuff and at school. And from there, like I was probably like 13, 14, and kind of got the bug then. And so like I would go online on dial up internet back then,
Yeah.
and Google what I have in my resource in Minnesota, and I would be on the city bus going from St. Paul down University to Minneapolis to Actors Forum, actors, different actors group that pretty much have all these adult in the class or in the group, and I was pretty much the only kid,
Right, right.
from that. And also just the fact that having at such a young age, and I think which is still amazing to still have this organization here is chat. Chat was one of the things that where I was literally in King Bang's first film, you
Okay.
know
Yeah.
so his 42-hour shoot film, and that kind of like, oh, okay, I could do this, so that from that. And then I went to actors no, not actors, Asian Media Access Camp, and learn how to shoot short film on on
Right.
camcorders and edit
Mhm.
on those Mac Apple thing. And so it's just kind of I use all these resources that was there for me,
Right.
and to continue to nourish that fuel in me to pursue acting. So
So after you graduated from high school, where'd you go for college, and how did your, I guess, as an actor, continue to cultivate that craft?
yeah, so I mean, I went to Marymount Mahan College in New York City. I mean, it
Mhm.
was between that or Pepperdine in LA. I mean, California. So I was kind of like, I don't want to drive. I don't want to have that thing of like paying car insurance, maintaining your car. So I was like, I went to New York, and the great thing is, at first my parents were like, "Why are you going to New York? Like, you should just go to the U or Century City." Not Century City. What is it? Century City?
Century College.
Century College. There you go. Century College, and just do that. And I was like, I need to literally find myself.
Right.
Redefining who I am as a man or a Hmong man, or just a person in general.
Mhm.
And so the great thing is that I had two cousins that was going to New York. We graduated the same year,
Mhm.
uh, and it was like because they at least know that I would have these two other cousins to
Right.
fall back on if anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, we all went to different colleges, but we were literally going to college in the city. Like one of them went to LIM for fashion merchandise, and the other one went to NYU for film. And I went to Maryland Hen College for theater and psychology. So
Right. So, because in MoMA, I noticed, like, for example, you have the NPR reporter Dua Lee, right?
yeah,
Like Old Tao, and then you have someone like the designer like Chong Chai in New York, and I know Dua Lee, after college, she went to New York and did work there. And you have like the Kanyang Yangs and the Bo Taos who just leave the comfort of their safety of their community
yeah,
and go to DC. And then you have someone like Neng Nao, right, who just said,
yeah,
I'm going to leave college, I'm going to fly around the country, the world, and make videos. So as an artist, because this is not a conventional monk career, right?
yeah.
you leave the comfort of your home, your community, the support, the network. What was it scary? Like when you moved to the big city, like what your thought process? Because Moma, Pituna is basically you think about like some of these heroes, like Dr. Yang Dao talked about how he left the village to go to France to be, and he became the first Hmong to receive a doctor, right?
Yeah.
PhD. So what was your thought process when you went? It was good, but I mean, you had to psych yourself out, right? That you're gonna pretty much say goodbye to Hmong people, right?
No, it wasn't so much of saying goodbye to the Hmong community or anything like that. It was more, and like I didn't feel like I was scared to go to New York City by myself or anything like that. It was more like it was like this burning inkling in me that I need to be there. You
Right.
know, I need to experience life,
Yeah.
and just also the factor that my oldest brother, like did the gang, did the life in Minnesota, the whole nine yard of what Minnesota is encompassed, and in which today I still thank him for doing all those mistakes so I won't actually follow those mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me to go to New York wasn't scary or anything like that. It was more of like, if I failed and if I'm ready to come home, I know for a fact that I will have a home back in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I mean, there's either finding money for a bus ride back home or fly a plane ticket to fly back home, but at least I know that there's a safety net there. And I feel like for all the Hmong kids out there, know that you know it's gonna be a tough road when you're finally telling your parents that you're moving out of your comfort zone, your home, to go find themselves.
Mm.
you know and that's the beautiful of our the first generation is there's a lot of that fear of, should I step outside of what I grew up knowing. And there are some people, like you say, like Bo Tao, Ning, and every, like that are stepping outside of that comfort zone and trying to just grow up and show a different perspective that it can happen. But you have to go with like an open heart.
So great. I'm just gonna, for those who are just joining us, think of the J name Long Pei, Shai Ho Facebook Live. This is the TGX show, live up close and person with Doua Moua, who plays Poe from the movie Mulan that just opened this weekend. But before he was Poe, he was played in Gran Torino. He was a monkey in the projects, Muote, just like some of you guys. Um, and he left, the projects, and then went to New York. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the behind the story of Doua Moua and how he got to move the set of Mulan. Um, so getting back to your story, Doua, when you were in New York, I read that in the book Success That Looks Like Me, which features you.
Yeah.
You talked about the challenges in New York of an actor, a student living in a big city. There was a point when you said you were homeless for a while. Share about.
Yeah. No, the great thing is, as when I first stepped foot into to New York City, besides having my cousins there, and it's just pretty much taking the time and reach out to my relative and say, hey, do you guys know anybody in New York City? And people only know one or two people, and it does take a second to get linked up to them and connect with them, but pretty much, I was working at a gym, and I kind of like start Googling people's Hmong last name in the gym database, and I found a couple of people. So that's how you start getting connected. And from New York City, it's like there's a period of time where I was kind of stopped college to just go to acting school 100%. And from there, it was just the fact of having bad credit that I couldn't qualify for an apartment. So, but I always had like money in my bank, so from that, it's more of the factor of, back then, being qualified an apartment, it's really strict upon your credit. That's the only reason why I didn't get, have an apartment. And I tried to sublease, a room from people, and I got scammed like 2 times. So I got scared. you know, so it kind of, it's not so much of like literally homeless and living on the street for a whole year. You know, it's more like I surf couched on friends, you know,
Right.
literally three friends of mine who are still friends of mine, which I owe my life to them direct, like a lot, you know, and two, one was like in education, and two was in fashion, and also my cousin who you know, stay with her once in a while as well. Is pretty much, you know, they gave me their couch to sleep on. You know, there's nights where they have their roommates come back, and I would have to like go sleep on the subway, you
Right.
know, or sleep on the park bench, you know,
Wow.
and it's pretty much, it was like a moment in my life where I was fighting so much about where I fall in my career.
Right.
Do I still want to pursue my career or do I not? You
Right.
know, because like I'm still paying for the cell phone bill, all that
Mhm.
stuff, and just to have your mom and you know, dad call you and say, hey, what you're doing, and you kind of have to give them a white lie, and because
Right.
at the first thing they know that you were in that position, they will want you to go home right away. You know what
Right.
I
Right.
mean? So
You
so
weren't ready to come home.
no, I wasn't, and there was still fire burning in me. You know, like I'm gonna prove people wrong that this is the career I want to choose and I'm gonna fight for. You
So in
know?
other words, it's not easy. You had to pay your dues.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. You know, and like if you look at any big superstars right now, like they
Mhm.
pay their dues. You
All
know, Brad Pitt lives in his car once. You know what I mean?
right.
You know, like a lot of people did that. You know, and it's the difference is I had full, you know, 4 seasons in New York City rather than
Yeah.
California where it's only hot the whole time. You know, but yeah, I mean, and besides that, like I was working at a restaurant. I also like was doing theater shows, so I would like clean the theater after a show and sleep on the stage, and you know, so
Mhm.
like everything was kind of, I made it work for me because I was
Right.
still fighting for my dream, you
Yeah.
know.
Well,
So
you were so you went through your struggles because I want people to know Dua, the guy who was homeless for a while, Dua the Dua the worker at the restaurant, right? Dua
yeah,
the guy who slept on couches of his buddies, because so people need to see that. I think for them to kind of appreciate your journey. So from New York to New York, after New York, how did you end up in LA?
I after New York and after Gran Torino, I kind of lived there for a bit, like probably like 4 years. And I just like I'm still young. If I don't try out LA, I'm
Mhm.
gonna regret it. So I came out here again, you know, stayed on my friend's couch trying to find my bearings of LA because it's like when you hear a story, you're like Hollywood, but Hollywood is just one small, you know, like a community like Frogtown. You call
Right.
Frogtown Frogtown. So Hollywood's pretty much Frogtown, you know. So in that but I mean technically on besides the glitz and glamour on one road, it's pretty much Frogtown, you know. Like Hollywood Boulevard is pretty much University Street for us, you know, in Minnesota. So the thing it's like, and then from that, you know, finding a job out here was so hard because you have so many actors and models and singers and songwriters are fighting for the same job, restaurant job, or you know, just ends meet jobs. So like it took me literally 2 years to, you know, get a restaurant job to serve tables, you know. But the great thing is like these jobs that I got from that point was just me being honest with my boss and the owner of the restaurant. Say, hey, I'm an actor and this is what I need to do, and you know, and I think that's the most important thing is being honest with yourself and being honest with your boss and say, this is what I am. You know, if
Mhm.
you want to hire me, you have to know about this. So when you land a job, or you know, when you book a TV a role in the TV show, like they will let you like go
Right.
shoot that movie or that TV show. You know, so I was privileged enough for all the boss I worked for who saw something in me, who believed in me. You know, so
Well, let's interact with some fans because I mean I'm
yeah.
just reading. One person said, but you got lucky. Your first movie off the bat, you got Jet Li and Donnie. You did a good job. Well, that wasn't really your first movie off the bat.
No, that
This
wasn't my
other,
first movie.
yeah, this other person said, I don't think MC Lee says I don't think Dua's lucky at all. I'm sure he got the role because he got skills, talented, and works hard. Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
fair assessment. Lots of positive comments. You did awesome job, Dua. Thanks for the advice of being an actor. One lady said, is Dua married? I got
No, I'm not married. I was brokenhearted once, and I feel like it distracted me from my mission in life, and I just didn't like that feeling. So I'm not right now, just because my career just is biting.
right.
I don't want to get distracted and fall into like that small situational depression of like, oh, my life sucks or whatever. Not where I need to focus my energy on my work. So that's why I'm not in the rush to get married or be partnered with anybody or anything like that. But trust me, my parents are like call me every single day, like for me to like go get married. So they have like grandkids and stuff like that. And my joke to them is, if you guys want me to get married, go to the Hmong village. You can find a wife for me. And if they can handle you guys, like we're good.
I told everyone it's a G-rated show, but just a little on the fun side. C.S. Young wrote, "I'll be home for you, Dua. Come home to mama!" Exclamation point. Let's make this fun. All right, so we got some folks flirting with you, some folks complimenting you. Okay, so let's talk about Mulan. How did you land this role? You did Gran Torino with you did Last Airbender a few years ago. You played Spider in Gran Torino, and now how did you end up on Mulan? And while you're talking, just to let fans know, I have been paying my bills, but for some reason my cord got disconnected, so my battery's on half. So while you're talking, I'm going to just try to connect my phone so my computer so it doesn't go out on you. But yeah, so
sounds good.
Hey, we're improvising here. I'm on a low budget, man. I'm on a low budget.
I understand. COVID is cutting everybody's job, so I get it. Literally for Mulan, I actually hustled to get into my first audition. I literally contact all the network that I have and literally say, "Hey, can you guys get me into the audition room?" And that's pretty much it. And from that, they brought me in to do a general audition, and I auditioned, trying to get the Shang Yu, the Boricon role, just because I felt like I had the eyebrows and the look for it. And then I pretty much did that, waited, and then they brought me in to go audition again with just a generic script, and did that, waited it again, and then they brought me back to audition for Poe, and it was like universe kind of pulling my tug, like, which role they want me to be, and and then auditioned for that, waited forever, and finally got the callback, and did the callback, met Nikki Caro and Jason Reed, who is a producer, and went back to read for Deborah Zane and Dylan, who are the casting directors, and waited again and didn't hear anything back. And the day that I literally erased the callback email, like literally 15 minutes afterwards, I got the call that I booked Mulan.
Okay.
So it was like a weird thing of like, I gave up, yeah. And the universe tapped you on your shoulder, just like, okay, this is what you need to do. So.
But I'm sure that by then they have seen your work in other films too. It's a complicated process. People think you just get on and you get out. It's not like it's where you apply and boom, you find out. It's a process there, right?
Yeah.
Like it's callbacks. You got to go back and audition again.
Yeah.
I also, because I know that someone asked me, Dua, what's your advice to new inspiring actors and actresses? Advice that you wish someone would have told you when you were starting out. That's fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would say save money. To be honest with you, save a lot of money. That's a key thing, because like, again, like it's going to take years for you to find a job, and you have to make sure you have money so you won't be homeless. Or if you want to try that adventure of being homeless, like make sure you have friends that make sure to like keep an eye on you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Besides that, like go take those classes, take those acting classes, theater classes per se,
Right.
you know, and try to take some on-screen classes. I mean, there's a, and especially in the Midwest, there's a lot of those acting convention stuff. Like, don't waste your money on that. You know, if anybody tells you to pay money to take pictures, don't waste your money on that.
Right.
It's up to you to find your photographer that you like, that you feel comfortable with, to take your headshots. You know,
Right.
and your headshot, and you know, building your demo reel, going to different university college in their film department and see, you know, which student is doing their thesis or student film, and be part of that, because that right there, you know, it's pretty much the reel to show to agents or manager or casting director that you can act, you
Right.
know. And you had to invest a lot of time knowing that you're not making money at the first you know place. You
Right.
know, I think there's a three things that I would ask any young actor or actresses, ask themselves: that do you want to be an actor because you want to make, you know, become a millionaire, or you want to be an actor because you want to be famous, or you want to become an actor just because it's part of your soul.
Right.
You know, if you want to be famous and you want to make money, this is not the job for you.
Right.
If you
Right.
want, because this is what you're great at and this is what you want to do, then the door could be open, you know. So
I want to add to that because I know some parents have approached me. Tou Ger, there's this agency that I'm enrolling my kids in acting, and you know, they got to fork up like $2,000-3,000 for like the season, and then I'm like, no, I think those are scams. I think
yeah,
I agree with you. Get involved in as many projects as you can. You're not going to get paid, but put in the grind, put in the
yeah,
work. Right? If either local, small, independent films, because it builds your resume. I'm going to talk about your resume because I mean, people don't. If you go to your website, you'll see even the small roles that you played in all these.
yeah.
Everything's down there. I also noticed, Dua, you can do Chinese accents, Korean accents, Japanese. People don't realize that that's something you could put on there as an Asian actor to market yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to put on there you're able to do martial arts. So talk a little bit about that. Like, how did you train for some of these accents?
I
For
mean,
some,
it's just pretty much watching a lot of movies and being, and I mean, that's a beautiful part of stepping outside of the Hmong community, going to New York, going to LA. Is you start building your network of friends, Asian friends, and you start listening to their accents, you
right,
know. And because you're more dependent with your friends or people you meet outside of your comfort zone, you know, for me it was the Twin Cities, is that, you know, you rely and you start relating to your friends, so you pick
yeah,
up those accents, you know, or you watch movies and you hear those accents.
right,
And
right.
it's all about having training your mind and your brain to start incorporating that, you know, into your, even though if it's a joke or not with your friends, like if you just gotta start practicing, you know, and start using it, you know.
Yeah,
So
I noticed that. Like growing up, I was always like I would mimic Chinese movies, like
yeah.
我不大是其是我做 pretend like I'm like, and then I would do like because back then they would do the dub English like
Yeah.
干巴啥多了，干巴啥多了 and I would mimic that. So one thing I tell a lot of parents is, you know, if your kids are really into the movie and they're acting out scenes, it's right there. Tell who right there. Like don't yell at them.
Yeah.
Allow them to
Yeah.
cultivate that craft, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, and I hope my journey will help facilitate that to
Right.
the parents, that if their kids work hard enough, like, and they see that I'm on screen, you know, with these amazing legend, and I worked hard to get to that point, like, I hope it will, you know, lift up this curtains for the Hmong parent, that okay, if I can do it, their kids can do it too, and give their kids a little bit more encouraged to go out there and pursue. And at the end of the day, it's like, if eventually you do all this and acting doesn't plan out, it's all about, you know, you have this this craft that you learn for public speaking. You
Right.
could use it for public speaking. You could use it for work. You could use it for not being afraid to be in front of a group of people and talk your mind, and, you know, promote what you want to promote. You know.
Well, I'm gonna try to be interactive because I also want to get to some fan comments. Someone said, "Hey, you guys, saying hi from the land down under. Hmong people from Australia, Melbourne,
Yeah.
Australia. Nhớ rồi mỗi này sai quay trở lại là coi như rằng là này trên đây chỉ tập bỏ mỗi nhớ Australia." That's me doing my Hmong Australian accent.
Oh, I still remember that. Well, when I was a kid, you did that on stage. So I remember
Yeah.
that.
Someone says, Dua, can you do your Chinese and Korean accent for us? There's a lot of K-pop fans. All right,
Oh.
put you on the spot.
Oh, I can't do it on the spot. I have to like, get a script.
Can you do like Hmong, for example? Can you do like cái lu Hmong ta chỉ câu họ accent đó, you know, like an Indian like an Indian Hmong accent like I did a few weeks ago, right? I'm like, oh, brother, do I Tou Ger Xiong chết chấp là có cái tôi mới start nhau
See, you're more talented than I am. I don't know why you're not in Mulan.
Well,
I'm so bad at on point. I would have to like take a second to like
okay,
get into my accent.
right, because you're more like because you have to get into character, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so sorry guys, maybe next time we can have us, maybe we could do a skit next time for you guys.
Yeah, let's do that.
I would love to do like a Japanese accent or something with you, where you like, because I noticed that too as a comedic actor, where it was always funny to me when I hear like growing up, right? The Chinese style, they had a certain like Jackie Chan movies, like Bruce Lee movies, and the Japanese ninja ones, it was always kind of like they're mad, like but then if you did a movie like, oh, so
you're like always on. That's awesome.
I always try to do like, if we did some of these accents in Hmong, it'd be freaking hilarious.
I mean, okay, so the only thing that I could like on top of my mind, because I do it all the time, is my fake Korean like K drama is Appa. 알았어. That's all I could do on top of my head.
I like, my favorite K-pop was we gotta do some. Now I think with COVID, we gotta get together, just get like Neng Now and get a few of us and just do some crazy like nights that we just shoot the breeze. Would you guys like that? Maybe we get a night where we just like Saturday Night Live, but we just do some improv.
No, I mean I'll be good at that.
All right. So what was it like being on the set with legends? Jet Li, you got Donnie Yen, and Louis. What's the star? Louis Fei. Yeah. What was it like on the set with them? Were they goofy? Like, were they like serious actors? Or were they just kind of like, was Jet Li was like, hey man, let's go get a banh mi sandwich or something? Like, what?
I mean, there's no Vietnamese restaurant in New Zealand. Right. But the thing is that with Jet Li, he's really, quiet to himself and zen. Yeah. And, it was pretty much, I was lucky enough to like, get his autograph and take a picture of him, because I was like, I'm not going to miss this opportunity. I'm sorry. If he hates me afterwards, I'm not going to try to miss this opportunity. So I got autograph from him and also take a picture of him. But before that, his daughter was on set learning filmmaking, and so I got a chance to like become friends with his daughter. And I mean, Ife is just like your normal sister, to be honest with you. Like we can drink. I mean, she's pretty much my age. It's like so we could drink wine and have a good laugh and joke about stuff, but still be grounded and talk about life and giving each other advice about situations and stuff like that. And then Donnie Yen is it's like a big brother, and you get so much advice from him from how he became who he is, and so I mean, all of them were amazing, and I think the number one person that was more starstruck was Jet Li, yeah, because we grew up watching him, I mean, Donnie Yen came later, but Jet Li and Jackie Chan was like the two that we were like, okay,
I saw you took some pictures of them too, like Aussie. Like, didn't one of them come to your house or something?
No, that was all in New Zealand. So we yeah, when we were in South Island, we had like Airbnb houses because there's no hotels in South Island.
Okay.
Because we were literally in like sets where they shot Lord of the Ring, like
Right.
in the middle of nowhere. So there was
Right.
only houses. So the boys and me would do like barbecues, and then
Nice.
Ife and the other castmates will come and have barbecue with us.
Right. That's funny. You'd be like hanging out with Donnie. Donnie, this is how Hmong people do it. Half half.
No, I mean, Hmong people would. I mean, he would drink it all. He doesn't do half half.
Okay, let's talk about your weight gain. You were playing pole. They said
Yeah.
did they say you have to put on 50 pounds. So why did you do that?
Yeah, so because Disney is so secretive of their project and their script, so when you get cast, like they don't even send you a script right away. Like for Gran Torino, I got the script like the next day, message to me. And with all these other film, like I got the script like a couple months ahead. But with Disney, it's you don't get anything until you get on set. So I didn't know, because I was like way skinny, and I didn't know if I was gonna, be the character on the animated film, or there's a new perspective, because the director wanted to have a new perspective on this film, a different approach on this film. So literally got to set a week later, the director sat me down and say, you have to gain weight. So I had 3 months to gain 40 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, and then while that you're also training horseback riding, military training, marching, weapon, stunts. So like I would eat a certain amount of calories, and then I will have 6 hours of training and lose all that. And then when I get home, I had to like eat more so I could like balance out, all the weight gain that I gained for literally 3 months before we start shooting.
So let me get this. Military training, martial arts training, marching, horseback riding. So you're not just acting, you're learning like a lot of crazy physical stunts. You got to be, so it's not just the acting skills, it's the physical endurance too, right?
Yeah.
What kind of schedule did you have? We're talking like 12-hour days, because I know shooting can get long sometimes, right?
Yeah, I mean the training was pretty much 6 to 8 hours, and then with the shooting, it runs from pretty much 8 hour to 24 hours.
Right.
Yeah, so that's it depends on what we're shooting. It depends on the weather. It depends on a lot of different factors. So either you shoot one scene that takes 6 hours, or literally one scene from different angle and different wide shot, master shot, to taking like 24 hours. So it's a lot of, as much as people only see the glitz and glamour on the red carpet or premieres and stuff like that, there's a lot of work that go to making a film. And it could literally be fun, or it could literally be exhausting, and you do it once and you don't ever want to do it again.
So for those who are just joining us, you guys are hanging out with Doua Moua, who plays Poe from the movie Mulan that just opened this weekend on Disney Channel Plus. You guys are putting your questions, so you just joined us. Please check in. There's 619 of you guys online. That's a lot. Tell us where you're listening from, what state. We've got some from Australia. Are there any Hmong France people here? And also any questions you have. This is a G-rated show, so please keep your questions to PG. Doua, you're getting lots of positive stuff like, hey, great job, spectacular job, proud of you and your work. Thanks for representing Hmong people. You can go back later and read all this stuff. Fresno, Cali. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, because a lot of people see the movie. I remember I did a low budget film, and I spent like all day shooting 2 minutes, right? So people don't realize you spent 5 years of your life on this movie.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so
well, actually 4 years. 4 years. Yeah. 4 years.
What was the in terms of your interaction with, I want to talk a little bit about the dynamics on the set now, because your schedule, the martial arts, I was very curious about that too. You guys, that was a pretty cool. By the way, I did see the movie. I was very impressed, and I'm a sucker for stories, right, and for special effects. And I think growing up, even Mona, the way we look at the storyline, even though we look at girls, me and Tsai Nyo Ti, right?
Yeah.
So Tan Dao, it's your teen, the whole idea of growing up in a patriarchal society, like we can relate to that, to Mulan's
Yeah.
story, right? I think her story is so relatable with growing up Hmong. Um, what was your takeaway from the movie?
I mean, that's it. I mean, I think if you there's these factors, right? If you understand that this is a Disney film and Disney has a certain look and storytelling to it, and everyone has their right to their own opinion. But
Right.
the most important thing about this film is, if you're a daughter, you should watch this with your dad,
Yeah.
or your grandfather, because us Hmong people, like you say, it's like they usually chisai punya nung na.
Mm.
So it's like this film is such a powerful film where it's like you have to watch it from that perspective, and it's because sometimes our parents we don't really talk a lot with,
Mm.
we just show action. That's how we grew up doing it, showing action. And this film does do that, showing the action that we need to uplift our Hmong mothers, sisters a little
Mhm.
bit more. Give them a little more credit for what they've done. Like for example, for me, it's like without my sisters being there for me for my
Mhm.
journey, because my parents were sick, and for me being stubborn and a little bit selfish of going out there trying to pursue my career without my sisters, literally my three sisters, they're making sure my parents are okay, I wouldn't be where I am today. So
Mhm.
I owe them a lot, and they are my champions, and even to my aunts and all of them, or kind of being the foundation to help my parents out while I was chasing my dream. And literally to just do this film as a tribute to my sister and understanding that it means a lot to me. And I feel like I hope a lot of daughters out there who do want to step outside of the world, of their comfort zone, and pursue their dream, please do. You will always have a brother in me for help. And I feel like all the Hmong brothers or Hmong father, we need to
Mhm.
and take a step back and really appreciate our daughters,
Mhm.
and really, support them and give them a voice, because their voice are important as much as our voice, you know
Kasi kasi ako lu dua kuya no ka lo mong na because they
yeah.
want to talk to fan it there. Có những actor có sát đại học movie. Bây bỏ có hay là kỳ hậu, bây bỏ có acting kinh, bây bỏ thì có cái action đau được gì. Cú sa có bây cho lùa cho nhiệt sĩ nhau từ chế thế nào. Lâu nó có hay là mong hay có hay tao cóประมวลlùa chi phaตัวก็เนี่ยก็สีเลยก็cho mùa và ta có hay lùa châu sau xưaตัวlỡเลยก็ประมวลcho lùa hay rồi bây cho mong ta nói ta tỏi thì giờ pi giờ sao một quấy tụ actor đó để
Yeah.
sao thì tên bài giờ chạy trên này mùa Hollywood để cho cái tiếng cha chê giờ mùa sao pursue là họ vì cho nó cho kiếm bao xuôi chạy mùa giờ mùa acting đó mà các bộ máy giờ lù suốt thời chụp lại các bộ môn lù hay là cái này cái gì lấy cái chợ mùa hoặc là cho chị
Yeah, có trên có giờ có chi mua của cho mùa ha của cho nà ti cái cũng lên chỉ mua có career by the book one na. So có chính lấy tại đó có hạt là nàn mỗi ít là nàn so lên trái hai lên gì na, which is the most chính xác blood na. Hold on, there's a plane going over me.
là
Yeah. So had cho biết cho mong had that biết cho sai biết cho mua biết cho sai ha biết cho là ti ha biết nào có in your more cái cho họ the call issue no call issue a lot of biết cho sai ha biết cho nào biết cho là ti po so in your tu sha had that biết cho chính nên mong chính nên sai po chỉ tao na, so we need to turn around and lu sai po more nu and you're going to you're going through this, and I hope I hope có sách lại nặng chú có gì lo có giờ and because bên mong lên chỉ halun đau nè mà bên tu halu and halun giờ halun chỗ halun đau chứ but the thing is 100%, I mean 99%就冇能接下轮到呢，就给下路干系被哪被接下被接下咗一家的呢，so 可可就整下但you say 但难咯，但 you na you zi ha you try you to king go be shu to ju be lu fu chi na o go be you know slowly mama lu bi ha lu pan ji to be na be zi den na be zi ju to kan ti lu cha lu ha chang gan be zhong cai ha chang gan be zhe du go bo shu to you know capable sharp to so there's no miscommunication and also go bo de du ben cai but 叫做忙说哈日本哈狗里不是了
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
so that's the most important thing and you know that's always been my mission of you know support the Hmong sister because I know and Hata, again without Domo I wouldn't be in this position you know because they sacrifice a lot for me to be here you know
So ni no na that was doing ni to pay more the tiền này chứ bao lô more tiền này chứ mình đâm cả má xua nhau LA là nó chứ hay là mong pha lô tôi này kiểu này tôi chỉ tự chế thì ni sau này cho mình tụi mình nhỏ này hay là dùng tôi lỡ ni sau là xia nó muốn sẽ kiếm bao xua ni sau là để cho muốn acting singing là chi là ni sau là thằng một tàu na đua cũng chỉ nó có ha để đôi khi pandemic nó này how has do pandemic how has it affected your you as an actor
yeah có corona nó cái affect của cho họแต่是呢这个我拿哈我 movie 哈 I think 这United States 不么搞单套了so 这么好了我呢 so กูตัวกันตี路上到 movie 哈上到路就帮卡住 you know like stories that untold stories that even within big Hmong community big san halu or big san chi tatsuna so the it like movie good good show delula the she to come shot lo the she not like na halu you know big down near what na down to director attach you know what na ha you know the she not you know the na ha yo it like na to you know the patriarch issue within the Hmong community, the LGBTQ in the Hmong community, you know, and I feel like
what's it called? And how can people support that?
Yeah, the harvest. So it's called a harvest because my cousin came out to me and I was dealing with my dad, you know, having kidney failure. So I was like combining the two stories together. You know, so I feel like it's time and it's a great moment where I'm good at using film and writing and television to tell my narrative, you know, and I feel like it'll be a powerful film to share for our community now. And because I feel like we should start having those conversations with our parents, our elders, our relative, that these issues are not really issues. These issues is part of the norm. It's who we are, you know. It shouldn't matter who you love. You know, it should matter of how you love, you know, and that's the most important thing. And I feel like this film, you know, and it was like top 100 script out of 70,000 script at the Academy Fellowship, the Oscar Fellowship. So like just getting that stamp saying that this is a story worth telling. You know, and it's a story, even though it's within the Hmong community, it's worth telling because we're not part of the model minority, you know, and to have this story to bring to the forefront and have a discussion about it, I hope it's powerful and help open those conversations with our parents and relatives, you know.
So where can people learn more? On your website?
Yeah, on my website or on my actors page. Pretty
Go
much
page, guys. If you are curious how you can support Doua's next project called The Harvest, please contribute financially and also stay tuned and put your fan comments saying you want to see it happen, because that's what moves the needle in Hollywood. And there's enough fans saying, hey, we want to see this project happen. Doua, I just want to be an extra in your movie. I want to walk the dog in the background. Walking the dog.
That can happen.
Right. You know, I think with this COVID going on too, around the world too, right? We're trying to, this is the new normal, connecting with each other through social media, supporting each other. I want to ask you, we're getting towards the end of our segment here. what gives you hope that because you living on your own in a big city, you got this pandemic. Oh, we haven't even talked about doing the activists. I know that you uh
Yeah, definitely.
let's do that first. Because not only can you do actor, can you do writer, that you're out there sometimes marching the streets with some of these causes. And I follow you in terms of your activism. You're not afraid to speak your mind when it comes to social justice.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean that's the thing. It's like sometimes being part of this entertainment industry, sometimes it's not about posting a picture of you holding a sign during a march.
right.
Sometimes you have to do it in silence just because you know it's right in your heart. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I feel like just because the younger generation now is using their activism through social media and want things instantly and gratify instantly. And I feel like yes, it does help the cause, but at the end of the day, if you don't know the root of the story of someone's post and you reshare it,
Yes.
it's a disservice,
Right.
you know. And just to be in my position, I do things by creating content to share, to tell the Hmong narrative of why it's important, and just because of the situation that happened in Minnesota, I understand that our Hmong community has been such a big divide on this.
Yes.
But because the situation is, we have the younger generation who want an instant answer,
Right.
but who doesn't reflect back into their older brothers or their older relative who are the first generation who lived in the projects,
Right.
who have that segregation, who
Right.
having two culture pitting against each other in
Right.
the culture, and they just either want that you agree with me or you don't.
Right. Right.
And I think that's the biggest issue, and that's that we need to have an intelligent conversation with each other rather than bring each other down.
Mhm.
Having an open conversation about these issues that has arisen during this COVID pandemic issue. Having the intelligent conversation and listening. The most important thing is listening to each other. Rather than dismissive at the beginning,
Yes.
because without our parents, the older generation that had built a bridge
Mhm.
for us to not, for the younger generation to not experience so much racism, we
Right.
have to thank them for it. We can't be dismissive of their views and their
Right.
perspective because they experience it different,
Right.
you know. And for example, I know many Hmong men who got arrested, who got killed,
Mhm.
and with so many things, affected. But the thing is, us Hmong, we don't like to talk about it. We don't like to have the light shine on us, so we don't have those publicly out there to show people that okay, this happens to us too.
Mhm.
But we need to be the better people and a better community and actually have the right conversation and not just share or Photoshop people's face on posts and saying this person is doing this and doing that.
Right.
You know,
Let's
that's all I'm gonna say.
right. Let's say this. I know some people have questions for you regarding certain political issues. I'm gonna say this. This is a G-rated show. So if you guys have questions for Dua, I know that Dua is very passionate about social justice. He's inviting you guys go and maybe have a show and invite him on your show. I'm sure he'd be happy to talk about some of these things. Today we're focusing on Mulan and Dua as the actor. Dua, sometimes people ask me, "Tuza, are you a comedian? Are you an activist?" Go there. I think I could be both, right? And who doesn't have to wear one hat?
Yeah.
Uh, and I appreciate that. Not only are you an actor and writer, but you also very conscious about the world that we live in today and how we can move that forward. I
You
want to.
have to, though. That's the big issue. You have to be conscious about it. You have to see both perspective, to
Yeah.
help propel our culture to the next level. You
Right.
have to see both perspective. If you don't, you're gonna only fit into one perspective,
Right.
and that's it. You're gonna have 50 people who might agree with you, but how can you be able to change
Right.
the next 50 people so
Right.
they join the fight for the right cause? you know. So
I just also realized that some people I might never change their mind. I mean, I have my fans. I got a lot of people like, man, Tou Ger is funny, but I got a few people like that guy's not funny at all, man. So I got my haters, and I'm cool. I'm comfortable with that. I mean, but I want to share with you. One sister, Dawn Tao, wrote, "Thank you, Dua, for your perseverance, your passion for doing what you love, and for using your platform to be a voice for all of us." And
thank you.
I like what you wrote in the book, Success That Looks Like Me. This is before all this, Mulan stuff too. You wrote, and I quote for you, for folks at home, I love that as a brother, you've always remembered your moments. Go show it, yeah. I quote, "One thing my parents taught me is that I am Hmong.
Yeah.
One day I would need to come back to help the Hmong people as much as I can. That is what I want to do with my acting and screenplays, but I have to pay my dues before I can come back to do that." End
Yeah.
quote. And I think, man, you're doing just that, man. You're living the dream, brother. When I grow
Yeah.
up, I want to be like you.
And
Uh,
it fits really well with, you know, the whole concept of Mulan, where it's like loyal, brave, true,
right.
and devotion to family. Is, you know,
Yeah.
my definition of loyal is having that loyalty to your culture, your heritage. Have that respect for that, you
Yeah.
know, and know that that's your foundation. But you have to be brave to step outside of your
Right.
comfort zone, to
Right.
go, you know, to find yourself and to live your life truthfully, you know,
Yeah.
no matter what it is, no matter, you know, if you're a man who loves a man, or a woman who loves a woman, or whatever. Not like, if you live your truth and you encompass all those three together, you could come back and devote your life to your family,
Right.
and
Right.
that will literally, you know, and your family will love you openly. But the thing is, if you can't be loyal and brave and true to yourself, your family would never be like that, be
Yeah.
that to you, you know. And that's why this story of Mulan is really important. And as much as people have their opinion, I urge you to watch it with your parents, and I urge you to, you know, see it for what it is, because there's such a bigger story there. And
Right.
again, it should speak to all our Hmong all our Hmong sisters and mother and aunts who experience that patriarchy, you
Yeah.
know, and have watched the movie and start having that conversation with your dad or your brother, or, you know, your uncles, that, you know, we're at a time where you guys need to value us, not me as a sister, but the sisters and the mothers, you know, more, you
Mhm.
know. So I think if we watch it from that perspective, you would have so much more respect for this film, rather than, you know, all the other white noise
Distract.
that's distracting the
I hear
purpose
you.
of this film.
I
So
hear. I love the storytelling. Congratulations to all your successes, Mulan. What a great note to end on. It's loyal, brave, true, and the family devotion to
devotion
family.
to family, yeah.
Um, man, it's been awesome just reconnecting with you again. Congrats! I can't wait to hear to interview you again for your next project.
Oh,
Uh,
thanks.
what gives you hope, brother? Su tai chụp lực sẽ nó có mua bà mua chi what có sau có share là what có cho share thì có chúng mua cái bảo sure ya tận đây mua không thì what gives you hope? Um,
I mean, literally, what gives me hope is to to do an interview, and a little boy called and talked to me and say I inspire him, and, you know, and that's it. You
mhm,
know, again, just to, you know, mission in life is just to inspire the younger kids,
mhm.
and I have that platform to do it, and I'm gonna continue doing it. If people like me or don't like me, at least I inspire one person. That makes me happy. You know what I mean? And
Cool.
that's more important to me than anything else. And, you know, so,
All right.
and
Well,
yeah.
continue to spread hope, brother. Continue to do what you're good at. Looking forward to your next movie. We just had some folks signing from Hmong in Vietnam, Hmong in
Oh,
Australia.
hey, what's up, Vietnam,
Yeah.
Australia?
So, hey, thanks a lot, man. Stay healthy, be well. Let's connect again. But thanks a lot for sharing
Yeah,
an hour
definitely.
of your time with us. All right. And for all of you folks at home, thank you for tuning in. Just stay tuned for our next show. We're gonna interview. We're gonna talk about politics, the election, and all that. So, hey, do a brother. Peace out. Good seeing you, brother. I love you.
And make sure to do your census, guys. It's
Yes.
important.
All right. Take care, brother.
You too, bye.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, I think we're good.